So this is going to be essentially a video comparing an older military or standard infantry rifle, although not so old that it's that's what I'm looking for, vastly different than a current, I hate this term, but combat rifle or assault rifle. But this is an SKS, an Rinko SKS. It's empty. Obviously, it's locked back. So, and this is empty as well. You can see that is empty as well. So, getting that stuff away, or getting that stuff out of the way, because we will more than likely be pressing triggers on this. So we'll talk about each individually first, and then compare and contrast. So this has, I believe, an 18-inch barrel. It's fairly long by today's standards, but short for 1960s standards and stuff like that, where 20-inch barrels were pretty much the norm and whatnot. This is obviously an Rinko Chinese copy of an SKS. So it comes with your standard sling, which I've bastardized. Would come with a bayonet, but obviously those are kind of hard to get in the United States. An SKS with a bayonet, let alone a matching one. Full wooden stock that's actually stained pretty well. This is an old one that's put up with some less than ideal storage conditions and no issues with the finish of the stock or anything like that. So normally they come with a cleaning kit. This one in particular does not have said cleaning kit. But is a pretty good representation of an SKS. Fires 7.62x39, runs off of stripper clips. Not very accurate in my experience, about 4 or 5 MOA, which is not impressive, but it's combat effective for a lot of situations, not everything. The triggers kind of suck. It's a 2-stage-ish, so you have a little bit of take up, and then there's still quite a bit of beat, and it allows it to go forward. I believe there's some models with scopes and stuff like that, but that's not very common. Most of them have iron sights that go up by hundreds of meters. It's like a BDC-ish thing. Something to keep in mind though with these is that they aren't going to be very accurate past about 300 or 400 yards in terms of the BDC, because each one is an even amount of, or an even like notch, or an even amount of space between hundreds of yards. Anybody that's into long-range shooting will know that the difference between a 200-yard zero and a 300-yard zero is less than the difference between a 300-yard zero and a 400-yard zero, and so on. Especially when you get out to like longer ranges and you're kind of stretching the legs out on a 7.62x39, which, I mean, 400 yards is kind of stretching the legs out on something like that. But you know, this is not a refined rifle or a good rifle by today's standards. But keep in mind, a bunch of 12-year-old rice farmers kind of kicked our ass with these. So the lesson to be taken from there is that poor tools can still be effective, even if not completely optimal. But yeah, these are old. They've been all over the place fighting coalition forces and Western forces and stuff like that. These are actually getting pretty valuable. They're, I saw them in sales for about $600. I venture to say is not in as good of condition as this. Didn't have the sling either, and the finish was a little bit more scratched up on the stock and whatnot. But that's enough for that rifle right now. This is representative of a modern combat rifle. But this is a CMMG Mark IV pistol, 12.5-inch configuration. I went with this because 10.5 barrels kind of run into issues with reliability because of the dwell time, and then also more gas and less velocity. 12 and a half is plenty short for what I'm doing with it, which is home defense, coyote shooting, truck gun stuff. Um, so that's all good. Um, would have preferred 11 and a half, but this was literally half off at my local gun shop. So for like a Christmas sale they were doing, so I copped this. For an SBA 3 brace, obviously not stock. This is a brace. Magpul K2 Plus grip, which I really like because of the storage thing. I plan on suppressing this at some point, so that's a good place to keep your tax stamp or a copy of your tax stamp. But right now I just carry 2 CR123 batteries, and a few Allen keys for all the various stuff that's screwed onto this thing. I run a mixture of PMags and Lancers. This happens to be obviously a windowed PMag. Trigger Tech trigger, Magpul enhanced trigger guard, which comes with the CMMG, Magpul bad lever, Hollow Sun red dot, which at some point is probably going to be replaced with an aim point, Magpul paraclip, Magpul QD point, Magpul flush cup thingy, Streamlight rail mount, ProTac rail mount. This is not the HLX. I bought this before the HLX existed, to my knowledge, anyways. This is going to be replaced with a Surefire M600 dual fuel. This was on a different gun. I just put it on here temporarily because this is my home defense gun. I need a light. Pressure switch mounted at 12 o'clock. Have an M-Bus Pro. I have this. I just haven't put it on yet. I have the rear sight and Raptor charging handle, and the tail cap and pressure switch for a scout light. BCM CAG grip. So legally I could turn this into a firearm by putting vertical grip on it because the overall length is like 28 inches or 27, somewhere in there. I choose not to do that because I actually just prefer this to a vertical grip. So it's very handy. It's nice for barricade stops, stuff like that. I have about 600 rounds for it, and I've had it for all of about a month. So let's see what else. I think that about covers it, but this wasn't meant to be an overview of the gun. But talking about this, obviously with the AR-15, there's a lot more variation. Anything from, you know, a 10-inch barrel, and I'm talking like serious use guns here, not, you know, fun range toy. Anything from like a 10.3 up to a 24 is used. I would really say that for home defense and the majority of civilian applications, an AR pistol is superior. You can have it in your car, loaded, pretty much everywhere. You can conceal carry it, although good luck. You're really not going to notice the velocity differences, you know, with anything you're going to be doing as far as a serious application. Most states you can't hunt anything bigger than a coyote with 223 anyways, or 5.56, so that's not really a concern. Although I'm sure, you know, for certain things, the longer barrel lengths are good. I just personally think that for a lot of or the majority of civilian applications, an AR pistol is superior. That's just me. But, you know, these things come smoking out of here with most loads. The green tip, which is what I generally shoot in this, is like 3,000 feet per second or something like that, advertised on the box. Not entirely sure about the actual velocity there, especially with the 12.5 inch barrel, but it's a mil spec ammo, so it's coming in pretty hot, and stuff like that. So, but you know, you can also run basically anything through a lot of ARs. People, because of Vietnam, people have misconceptions that AKs are just infinitely more reliable than ARs or M16s or, you know, whatever, but that's not really the case. This is not my only AR that I've owned. I've literally poured dirt into an open bolt, shook it out, shoved a magazine in there, and the gun ran fine, and I was on a cheap rack grade AR. So, you know, this one, so far I have not done that. That will be part of the initial torture testing before I'm completely trusting it, but it has been thrown in the snow, dropped in the snow. You know, it's fired 600 rounds without being cleaned. You can tell that. All that stuff. So it's been operated in sub-zero temperatures. Hasn't had a chance to run in the heat yet, but I don't see where there would be any issues with that. Most of the time we run into issues with the cold. This runs steel. One of the... Come on now. It's weird. There we go. One of the... I've run it in literally below 0 temperatures. It's January in Colorado. I've run it in sub-zero temperatures twice so far. One was with brass, one was with steel cased, ran fine both times, all good there. Gun's been 100% reliable. I had a couple initial technical issues that were my fault. So this originally comes with a CAC brace. I'm kind of going into too much detail on the gun, but this originally comes with a CAC brace. Long story short, I didn't install the buffer correctly because I didn't know what I was doing, because I'd never like assembled an AR or anything before. Not that I really assembled it. I mean, I just switched out the buffer tube, but anyways. Didn't have it torqued down enough, and the buffer spring ended up coming out on me, which was not fun. And then the trigger was way too light, which just led to essentially the hammer knot, or the trigger knot resetting every shot. So, because this is a Trigger Tech adjustable trigger. But once I got those issues figured out, the gun's been 100% reliable. So, not counting those, it's been about 500 rounds. This isn't about this individual gun. Basically, the AR-15 is superior in every way. I would venture to say it's superior to the AK in pretty much every way as well. Short of maybe availability and cost of ammo. So why do I say that? Well, we'll only talk about the SKS today, but the full stock, really not good. To have a full stock, because, you know, especially if you're arming a military or an army or whatever, not everybody is the same height, the same weight, same proportions. I have monkey arms. I'm 5'6", and my wingspan's like 5'11". I have pretty long arms, but I also have narrow shoulders, and stuff like that. So like I'm kind of wonky proportions, and you know, an AR-15 is a million times easier to get into a good setup for me than like an SKS. And now I can run the SKS well, because I'm a big believer that you should be able to run basically anything with some level of proficiency. But you know, like for example, a good example of why full stocks like that are not optimal is I was in Cabela's the other day and picked up, they had an Airsoka Type 99, and the length of pole was like this because, well, it's made for the Japanese and generally they're shorter people. So, you know, me, even being 5'6", you know, I have monkey arms, so it was way too short for me. I wouldn't shoot that rifle well. Where, you know, obviously they didn't really have retractable stocks back then, but theoretically if they did, you know, I would be a more effective combatant if I had to use one of those with a retractable stock versus a full stock like that. So, or you know, some rifles, a lot of rifles like Remington 700. I have a couple hundred rounds through a long action Remington 700, which is where part of my disdain for them comes from. That's a different topic. Length of pole is just ridiculous for me, so that's why I like chassis, is because like I have wonky ass proportions, so I can generally just adjust them to me. But yeah, you can adjust these with grip angle and stuff like that. Also, the grip angle is just objectively superior. The guns are similar in weight. This one I can hold with one hand, be somewhat effective with. Somewhat effective meaning hitting 10-inch steel at like 50 yards pretty consistently at a reasonable pace. This one I can hold up, but it's fallen. I don't have much control, and I feel like it would actually come out of my hands if I shot it one-handed, where this I know it will not. I've shot one-handed before. So the 18-inch barrel also makes this thing a lot less wieldy. You know, 7.62 by 39, you aren't getting much range anyways because of the garbage ass ballistic coefficient and whatnot. And in fact, it's just not inherently a very accurate load. But nonetheless, you will get some decent velocity out of this. That's really the only place that, well, not even really, because 5.56 is meant to be a very high velocity round, so there's also a lot more match loads available if you're looking at 5.56 or 2.23 versus 7.62 by 39. So there's that. Safety on this is that, which is alright, but it's not conducive to, like, if you're running and gunning. You know, if you're familiar with that at all, you know that, you know, if you're moving, you flip your safety on. I'm sure a little bit of practice you could get all right with it, but you're never going to be as efficient with one of these as you will be with one of these unless you've, like, never touched an AR-15 and you've spent your entire life on an SKS. So, you know, bring it up. Drop that, but okay, bring it up. See, I have to completely take my hand off of fire control to sweep that and get it down so that I can shoot. This, however, okay, it's unsafe right now, just like that. So, exceedingly easy versus exceedingly difficult. It's just right there. There's ambi safeties for this. I don't believe in a whole lot of that stuff. That's a different topic, though. You know, you can have it if you want. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it. I just think it's unnecessary. But yeah, so the main difference is going to be ergonomics. There is the caliber capability issue, but like there's ARs in 7.62x39 and stuff like that. So that's not specifically the platform. That's the caliber that it's generally in. So I won't talk about those. But like, okay, for home defense applications, we're not even going to discuss the Archangel stocks for the SKS, because if you have one of those, you're a piece of shit. Plain and simple, you're destroying a piece of history. Same thing with like Mosins. But anyways, you know, mounting the light on here, good luck without an Archangel stock, which is, again, stupid. You know, because those require a detachable magazine conversion, and those are not reliable in the SKS, so it's inherently a flawed system, you know, not smart. Good luck with an SKS. The only thing I can really think of is like a barrel clamp with like a piece of Picatinny rail, slapping a light on there, and then running the pressure pad back here, because you can't really be holding the gas tube here. Not a good idea. So running a pressure pad back to like one side or another. You could do that, I guess. Kind of silly though, if you ask me. Running a red dot, which is, you know, very helpful for home defense in serious use situations. Really, anything is going to benefit from having red dots over iron sights, generally. You know, let's talk about like precision shooting, but even then, I feel like definitely red dot. I would rather have a red dot than irons, although I can shoot both decently well. But you're basically screwed in the way of optics without seriously modifying the gun. I think they might make gas tubes. I know they make gas tubes for AKs that have pick rail, but I don't know about an SKS. So, and anytime you're modifying a big part like that, you might run into some reliability issues. Which the SKS, in my personal experience, this is a sample size of one, pretty reliable, but I did have a couple jams, and I only put about 200 rounds through it. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's see what else here. No customizability as far as you know, shooter size and preference without affecting reliability, because you have to go to a magazine conversion. So reloading, speaking of magazine conversions, you get to pick between unreliable magazines or stripper clips. So stripper clips are good in the 1960s, they are not good in 2019. Plain and simple, I can have 30 rounds of this. I don't have another magazine around here. Oh, I do. Okay, I can have 30 rounds, right? 40, 60, however many. And I have another one. Okay, it's ready to go. So this I have. I personally suck using stripper clips, but I'm not going to count that against it, because that's just me sucking, because I've shot barely any with stripper clips. But you get 10 rounds of 7.62x39. Then it does have a bolt stop, which is something it beats the AK on, but then you have to take it, get it lined up in here, push those down, pull the stripper clip out, and then yeah, there's no bolt catch, so you're stuck in here for longer. There's, you can't come back while you're doing something. I guess you could maybe like take your stripper clip, put it there, okay, push the rounds in, yank the stripper clip out, do everything with the left hand, and then you'd stay on fire control. I think that's kind of silly though. So beats it out in the firepower department as well. Muzzle brakes / suppressibility. Obviously, the AR-15 kicks the SKS's ass. This was before a time where suppressors were really commonplace. They existed, don't get me wrong. Obviously, the NFA banned them all the way in the 1930s. So they existed, but they weren't really commonplace battle implements, from my understanding. I may be wrong there, but we're now, like, the Marines are getting issued them, and they're pretty much common practice in special operations circles. I also forgot to mention this particular one's missing a cleaning rod, if you noticed that, but no threading, so you're gonna have to take it to a gunsmith. Hopefully it's concentric and stuff like that, and this is gonna kick out a bigger fireball than whatever the barrel length is here in 5.56. That's just reality. 7.62x39 is going to produce a lot larger fireball, which is why AK pistols are not really a viable home defense option to a lot of people. But yeah, so, for hunting or whatever, the SKS is cool. I have an appreciation for the SKS. Disassembly is also kind of a pain in the ass, in my opinion. That's a minor thing. For hunting, I would say this is superior. You've got irons. Granted, they aren't great, but you have like sort of a BDC kind of thing that's going to be roughly accurate. 7.62 at close range is an effective and humane, medium animal cartridge, deer, antelope, stuff like that. Definitely adequate for coyotes, which is most of what I do my shooting on. And stuff like that. But it's just not a very precise gun. It's not the shooter with the 4 or 5 MOA. I have a Savage 308 that I shoot half MOA pretty routinely with. I have this gun I shoot about 1.5 or 2 MOA with non-match ammo. I'm getting a Howa 6.5 Creedmoor soon, and I imagine that will be sub half MOA because I've shot a Howa and it was crazy. Yeah, it's not the shooter being non-proficient. Granted, it was only with one load, it was just Wolf, hollow points or whatever, but, a gun should not be 4 or 5 MOA with any load. So yeah, that about finishes up. Really, the only thing that I would say this beats the AR in is like per shot firepower. The 7.62 is a little bit stronger. It won't go as far. Not going to shoot as flat. Not going to have the same capabilities on armor, but on just flesh, like animals, it will do a little bit better just because it's larger. It's like 1.5 times the diameter almost. So, but yeah, that's about the conclusion of the video. So stay tuned for more shooting, philosophy, political, me whining, etc. videos, and my Instagram. So.